Hello everybody, welcome back. We're here for another Tarkir Dragonstorm set review, and today we're going to be going over all of the colorless cards, giving them a rating between 1 and 10 based on how we think they're going to do in the average limited deck. That's sealed and draft. We've got Yanks on the call. Welcome back, Yanks.
Good to be back as we look at the artifacts, lands, and the single colorless card that you see on the screen.
Yeah, we are almost there. We have 2 more to go for those of you guys who are on YouTube and making it through each one of these with us. We really do appreciate you. Don't forget to go back and check out the other colors if you've missed them, as well as our introduction to Tarkir. That's the most important one, where we go over new mechanics, returning mechanics, and draftable archetypes and signpost cards, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and jump straight in with Ugin, Eye of the Storms. There's not that many planeswalkers, right? Is this only the second planeswalker we've seen?
Yep.
Just Elspeth?
Just Elspeth.
All right, 7 mana for a 7 loyalty planeswalker. You can't cast, when you cast this spell, how did I get you can't cast spells? That's totally a not good statement to say. When you cast the spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Okay. You can plus it to gain 3 life and draw a card. You can 0 to make 3 colorless mana. You can minus 11 to search your library for any number of colorless land cards. Non-land. I was like, they're all colorless. That's why I paused. I was like, wait a minute. Exile them. That's why I just need more coffee. That's what it is. Exile them and shuffle until end of turn. You may cast those cards without paying their mana cost. So you need to plus this thing twice. 9, 11, yeah. 2 times, and then you can do the thing. I mean, there's not a lot of colorless cards in limited.
I think you're mostly just looking at this as 7 mana, exile a thing, gain 3 life, draw a card, and keep doing that every turn.
You're not doing that every turn.
The draw card, gain 3 life part.
Yes.
Sorry.
I was like,
No.
I was like, where does it say you get to exile something every turn? Yeah, I agree. I think you're 100% right. The colorless mana could be good if you're like hoofing or something, but you already paid 7 for this idiot, so like you probably don't need a hoof. I agree. I think that my rating on this is not going to be for like the longevity of like winning games. It's more like a removal spell that then gives you that life gain and card draw, which is great still. And for 7 mana, I think it's expensive, but I am willing to pay that. It does affect the board when it comes down, so I mean, this feels like it could help you win a game. It's just, it's no Elspeth.
No, I mean, in order for them to get rid of it, assuming they don't have 9 power that they can get freely through, it's an instant kind of 3 for 1. Right? You're exiling something.
They have to have 9 power through the removal spell.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're exiling something, you're drawing a card, and then they're spending a card to kill it. So you've gotten at minimum a 3 for 1 there for your 7 mana.
Yeah, 7 mana, kill a thing, draw a card, gain 3 life. That seems really good, and then there's a chance you just get to do that every turn if it doesn't already close up the game. So maybe this is just like a 9, because that is a big swing, even though it's 7 mana, and then it does pack quite a punch in the follow-up turns as well. It's hard to kill.
It does, and then eventually, maybe there is a turn where you're drawing a couple cards, now you've got a full grip and you want the extra mana to be able to, triple spell or something.
Yeah, I was a little lower on it in my head, but I mean, the format seems slow enough to where I think you can do things like this. So I'm getting more and more on board with it the more we talk about it.
I think I almost still kind of want to give it a 10, partly just because it's colorless. It's colorless, right? Yeah, there's no mana requirement on this other than 7 flat. So you can put it in literally any deck.
That's fair. I think I will stick with a 9 just because it is. I feel it feels beatable, but
I
do think it is very good.
Yeah. There are boards where this might still not be enough, but
well, that and like sometimes it's not enough in that it's too expensive. Like it didn't save you because you didn't get to play it. Like that happens some number of times as well. So, it's still very close. Like either way, it's like game-ending bombs, right?
Agreed.
All right, that was probably the most difficult colorless card. Let's go on to the easier ones. Abzan Monument, 2 mana for an artifact. When this enters, search your library for a basic plain, swamp, forest, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. You can pay 1 and Abzan, sacrifice it, create an X white spirit creature token, where X is the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Activate only as a sorcery. I am here for this. It fixes your mana early and then turns itself into a solid body in Abzan. Like, I mean, a 4/4 is not a lot to ask out of this, I think, for Abzan.
No, I mean, this is obviously, just by its name, it's part of a cycle, and each one of them is going to get you your clan colors and then have some ability that gets you some amount of tokens kind of themed towards the clan.
Yeah. So I'm on board with this. I feel like I am not cutting these. I'm going to say these are 6. At least this one.
I think this is a 6. I like these way better than like the banners we had in the first cons. Now those ramped you.
And then they drew a card, I think, or something?
They drew a card for a few mana, but those were still fine cards. But they kind of just spun your wheels a bit, whereas this actually advances your board.
Yeah. I love the idea of having a card that helps me smooth out my hand. Like, because I probably, when I'm playing this, I want the extra land in my hand. So you could just argue play a land over this. But, like, I also love it when my land just turns into a 4/4 later. So I like these cards. I think they're going to be good. Boulderborn Dragon, 5 mana for a 3/3 with flying and vigilance. When it attacks, surveil 1. There's graveyard synergy. There's dragon synergy if you're desperate, depending on your colors. 5 mana for a 3/3 flyer seems really poorly costed at this point, so I'm going to say this is a 4, but I'm sure there will be times where I either want dragons or I really need to get cards in the graveyard where this makes the cut as like a 23rd playable card, but I don't think it's going to be very often.
I mean, you've got the terrible blue card that lets you go search for this.
Excellent. In the deck it goes.
Yeah, no, 4 sounds right. This is just, in this day and age, too much mana for too little impact.
All right, Dragon Blade, 1 mana. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has hexproof from monocolor. That's good. I feel like most removal is pretty monocolor. Equip 4. This costs 1 less to activate for each color of the creature it targets. So let's just say default 1 color, but like this is a very 3-color set, so you're going to get a ton of 2 and 3 color cards. So I don't think it's unrealistic to say that this is going to have an average cost of 1.5 or 2 cost and reduction. So it's going to be like a 2 equip a lot of the times. That's not too bad.
No, I think this card is good. The flip side on what you just said about the equip cost also applies to the hexproof, right? There's going to be a lot more multicolor removal spells in this format than usual.
Yeah, I've found that is kind of true, but when you get to multicolor removal spells, I find that their rarity gets jacked up a lot. There usually is a lot less multicolor common or uncommon spells. Like maybe, I remember like what Strixhaven had the like draw and discard at uncommon and it like hit something. Like that card was great, but it was uncommon and they were pretty rare. And then you have things like Void Rend and multicolor spell, like removal spells that are very good, but they're often at rare. So like I don't tend to put those too much in my ratings. But maybe I'm wrong. What do you think?
I think you're right that they do tend to lean that way more. I mean, I'm just thinking we've got 72 multicolor cards in there. There's going to be some stuff. You're right. It is probably just because removal and good removal, at least in general, leads towards uncommon anyway.
Yeah. And the ones that I feel like even in 3-color sets, the ones you see the most they still tend to be in red or black just straight up. And then the others I think are going to be at rare. There's probably like an is it one where, you draw and then discard and hit something based on CMC, but probably rarer on the whole, but we're going to find out. Rating wise, I'm going to keep that in mind for my rating. I'm going to assume that it's not as relevant for the hexproof, and I'm going to say that this is something I'm going to play. It's no axe. What was that axe called? That was in Foundations. That just was so stupid. Highest win rate. Leyline axe. Yeah, it's no leyline axe. but I do think that this is good. So I'm going to say this is... I mean, I'm probably playing this. I feel like this is probably like... 6.5.
Yeah, I'm actually, strangely, even though the way I was talking about it, I think I'm actually higher. I've got this as a 7.
Yeah. I'm wondering if... Yeah, my initial thought was a 7, but like I reined it in, like that felt like a little too high. So yeah, I think we're really, really close. I'm worried that this will it reads better than it will play. So I hedged my bets and went down.
Sure. Well, that's always possible with equipment.
Dragonstorm Globe, 3 mana. Each dragon you control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, and you can add a mana. Great. The average deck doesn't care about this, but if you're in a dragon deck, I think I'm running it because your dragons are expensive and you want them to come into play with counters, so you want help to cast them, and then you make them scarier and bigger. It's a 3-color set, so I don't want to say a 1, because there will be decks where you just like get totally wrecked on a straight up 3-color deck and you just like need this because you're desperate. But I'm gonna say it's like a 2 or like a 6, right? In the dragon big deck.
Yeah, I agree with you in the high end. I'm actually probably a little higher on the low end because I don't mind putting a mana rock in my deck in a 3-color set, especially when cheating a little bit to look ahead. There is not as much fixing as you would have expected there to be in the set.
I feel like you're gonna get so much better though. Like we saw a lot in the colors, especially in green, and then I was already like the Abzan Monument just feels better to me.
And stand by, I lied because I got confused by the filters on.
So there's more fixing.
Gallery, because I forgot that they put the gain life lands as a rarity of land, not common. So those are all getting filtered out.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm hoping that there's better for limited than a 3 mana rock. Like that doesn't make the cut in Commander. Like we don't.
The Commander, you have your choice of 37 different 2-mana rocks.
Like I remember the cons ones being fine, and they were a 3-mana rock that drew you a card later. If I have no dragons in my deck, I'm hoping that there's better, and if there isn't, my deck is wrecked anyway.
That's fair. I guess I'm thinking even like your non-dragon decks are probably having 1 or 2 in them in this set.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I mean, I think I'm not saying it's great. I'm saying it's probably like a 3/6 instead of a 2/6. Either way, it's probably not going.
That's still very close. And I'm just maybe I'm a little optimistic in that there will be just better.
Yeah, there might be.
Ember Mouth Sentinel. It looks like Mushu, which is excellent. 2 mana for a 2/1.
The pork. Mushu pork.
No, Mushu the dragon. He was a big statue like that, or he went to wake up a big statue like that. He was a little statue. When this creature enters, you may search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put that, then shuffle and put that card on top. If you control a dragon, put that card onto the battlefield instead. I actually liked this the last time we saw it. Well, it was the same stat, same mana cost, except for that didn't have the dragon claws to put it in your hand. It was in Foundations, I think.
It might have been. I know there was one in Strixhaven. There might have been one more recently.
No, there was one super recently. I'm sure Target Player will be able to fill me in, but I think
Foundations.
I think it was Foundations. It was like a little, like, Scion-looking dorky thing. It wasn't Strix, and a more recent set, yeah. Target Player, you were supposed to tell us the answer, not repeat the thing that we said. Now you're going to make me go look it up.
It was. It was actually the same card, Campus Guide, which was in Strixhaven and reprinted in Foundations.
Okay, good. It was Foundations. Excellent.
Yep.
And honestly, I think it played really, really well. And Foundation wasn't inherently a 3-color set. In fact, I think Foundations had a much lower win rate at 3 colors. So I think that card was excellent. I am in an actual 3-color set. I think this is going to see a ton of play. With the Dragon Claws, all the better. I'm going to say this is a 6.
I think I'm gonna give it a 5.5. I just like the monument better, and I had that as a 6. So
That's fair. I'm kind of operating under the assumption I'm gonna want them all. like I want 2-drop creatures that are fixing. I want other things that are fixing and turning into creatures. I think I just want it all.
I think I don't love the. I think I don't love the 2/1 body in a token format.
That's fair. That's fair. I just really loved Campus Guide, and I'm rating it. You're 100% correct. I'm rating it based on its performance and in a set that is not relevant to the set that it's currently in. So maybe the tokens is hurting it a lot more than I'm giving it credit for, because I'm not giving it credit for being hurt at all. I'm just assuming it's going to be that good. Given that this is a more 3-color. Jade Cast Sentinel, 4 mana for a 1/5 with reach. You could pay 2 and put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. The last time we saw this, it was a 4/5 for 5, I think, and it did the same ability. I think it also had reach. And the cool thing is that it was a slow format, and I definitely had people stop me from milling them out. Like over just like having a long stalled game that would have milled them out. They didn't because of this. In fact, they had 2, and they were able to like respond to my removal by putting the other one in their deck. And so I was like actually died. That happened in a game. So don't underestimate these. I think this is going to be a longer format, but I certainly could be wrong. We never know at this point. I like them in the sideboard for reach and for like butts to block. Sometimes I just want a 4-drop that can block a Mardu deck forever. Probably a 4.
That sounds right. I'm thinking. I'm always telling myself, yeah, this is great. I'm going to use this card to prevent myself from decking. Then it never ends up happening. I mean, I'm sure it does. Obviously, you have an example or does, but I can't think of any time when I've actually done that with one of these.
I mean, in fairness, it's mostly been my opponents that have done it. Because I don't run them often enough because they're not actually good. But then when I see them, I either just steamroll them and kill them because it's not good, or it saves their button and it stands out in my mind, right?
That makes sense. I am also very confused as to why this is an ape snake. It seems kind of random.
Yeah, it's like a centaur situation, right? Snake with a ape body. That's fine. I mean, it's just two different evolutions of the. What are the names? I know the name, the official like Greek name of the snake ladies, but I can't think of it right this second.
The Gorgons?
Well, Gorgon is one of them, but there's another one. Medusa is a specific character. Yeah. Oh, what are they called?
The Naga.
Yeah, Gorgons is the main one that's popping up, but there is another snake lady in Greek. Like,
I mean, there's the Echidna.
Echidna is like the mother of monsters.
Yeah, she's also half woman, half snake.
I'm spending way too much time on this, but I want to. What is it in my head? Why? Now I just looked up like. Is this it? No. It'll come to me. It'll definitely. I know it exists. It was actually in the Percy Jackson books, for sure. God damn it! Now I'm gonna have to go look it up. Okay, moving on.
You're not thinking of chimeras, right?
No.
No, okay, that has a snake tail, but that's not. I didn't think that's.
No, it is like a snakety snake woman. Maybe she's top snake, bottom leg. I don't remember. She's like a little different than a Gorgon. Because and Gorgons I think have like the hair. I don't know. Anyway, YouTube, I'm sorry. Please don't leave. Rating, what do you think, Yanks?
4.
Excellent. We are in agreement. The Jeskai Monument does the thing. For the same rate, sacrifice, create 2 birds with flying. I think that's fine. I actually like it a little bit better because it doesn't actually require you to have one like the Abzan does.
Exactly.
Which is kind of neat. The Abzan obviously can scale and get a little scarier, but it's one target. You have to have a creature, so if you don't, then you're kind of wrecked.
And if you have like a 4/4 and a 1/1 and they kill your 4/4 in response, you only get a 1/1.
Right. So, I mean, I still think it's probably a 6, but like, I do like it more.
These are kind of like some of the non-basic line cycles we see, right? They're all going to be probably in the same range unless one is absurd.
Yeah, like sometimes you'll see like the Orzhov one do more for you because it's a life gain, because it gains life in a life gain deck, but we still rate it the same because it's like we don't care about that specific situation. We care about the average deck. So this one, this one actually costs 1 more. Create 3 1/1 red warrior tokens. They gain menace and haste until end of turn. I think I like this less than the Jeskai.
I kind of like the effect in the same ballpark. It just, I don't know. I don't feel like Mardu decks are ideally even spending their turn 2 doing this.
Yeah,
Or
I agree. We are less interested in fixing in this way. I think you probably would be a lot more interested in the Campus Guide card for that because you want the body.
Probably.
But I just think the extra mana to get the extra 1/1 warrior on the ground, even though they have haste and menace, like I still have to assume they're double blocking one of them and eating it, and then they take 2. I'd rather have the 2 flyers. I feel like that's more damage over 2-3 turns than what this will give you.
I guess the idea is, right, you're probably running this attacking with these alongside a bunch of mobilized stuff, so you're just overwhelming them, so they can't afford to double block these.
Yeah. I still think it's my least favorite of the bunch, however.
I think that's fair.
What's your rating?
It's the same. It's still a 6.
Yeah. I will say 5.5. Just to be specific. Because I do like it like less than the other 2. So we'll see if that changes. Mox Jasper 0 for add 1 mana of any color. Activate only if you control a dragon. I don't think this is limited situational. I'm going to say this is a 0. Because once I've played a dragon, then I don't really need a rock. And if it costs 0, it doesn't help me.
Exactly. This is only useful for people that are cheating with it and playing it in Commander with shapeshifters and changelings.
Yeah. And there are little dragons, like you said, in Commander or in like Alchemy or whatever it is that you're playing with cards like this. But yeah, I don't think we're interested in limited. The Sultai Monument also costs 1 more than the first 2. Sacrifice this artifact, create 2/2/2 zombie druid creature tokens. Doesn't require anything of you like the Abzan one does. 4 power, I think, is pretty good. Split across 2 bodies. I'm more on board with this as well. 6.
That's fine. It's like, I guess Jeskai too. I'd say it's like the least thematic of any of them because Sultai isn't really doing a tokens thing, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with this card. It's a 6.
You're slouching again, aren't you?
Shut up.
I can tell because your bar stops making noise. Next up, let's talk about the Teamer one. This one costs another 1 on top, 6 and 3. Sacrifice it, create a 5/5 green elephant creature token. Still a 6. I like the idea that the Abzan one can get this big at like 2 less cost if you have the creature already. But yeah, I think they're all like roughly the same.
Agreed.
All right, next up, Watcher of the Wayside, 3/2. When this creature enters, target player mills 2 cards, you gain 2 life. it's a fine rated creature for back in the day. And if you synergize with the mill, like most likely for yourself, then you're very happy to do this. Still not great, but there's specific decks that will want this. I'm going to say it's a 4.
I think so. You'll know when you want it in those graveyard decks or the deck. You just know from the cards you've got if you have a bunch of harmonizer stuff that you don't hate to mill.
Yeah. Okay, down to the lands. These are our regular life gain lands. We usually just give these a 6 because if you're these colors, you want them. They're always really good. Fixed mana base, people undervalue. So drafting a strong mana base is very good. Like sometimes in certain spots, depending on, I've got 4 drops. I don't need a 4-drop that is a 6 or 7 on the scale. Power wise, when I have this in there, because I need to smooth my mana base, because those cards don't do me any good if I can't cast them. So having that smoothed out mana base is really important. But again, you have to balance it. If you are missing creatures and you don't want to pass up an equally rated creature for the mana base, because mana is not good if your deck is not good, right? So I would say these are 6. The life gain is always a bonus.
I think so too. If this format is anything like original cons, which is probably not, because that was 10 years ago at this point, then these are probably rated higher because those were second or third pickable cards in that format. To just get a whole bunch of lands early and then draft 5-color nonsense was a legitimate strategy, but
that was not the average deck, right? That was a strategy, like a specific deck.
True, I think, but it kind of forced everybody to pick them earlier. Because somebody was trying to monopolize them a lot of times. But anyway, I think that's not likely to occur here, so it's probably still a 6.
All right, same for the Blossoming Sands. We have the Quarry Mountain Monastery. This land enters tapped unless you control a plains or an island, so pairs with Temur, adds red. You can pay 4. Oh, what did I say? Yeah, it is Jeskai. Adds red. Pay 4, tap, exile a top card of your library until end of turn. You may cast it. You don't have to sacrifice this. This is just card draw.
Yep, it's until the end of your next turn, so
yeah.
You can, do it at their end step or whatever, or during your turn, and you still, you're not out you're out 5 mana to do this, but that's okay if you're.
And honestly, even if I'm not in Jeskai, even if I'm in Temur or whatever, I think I'm still fine with my land coming into play tapped. And if you're a 3-color deck, you shouldn't have at least 2 color pairings, or at least 1 color pairing with this, right?
If you're playing Jund in this format, there's something wrong, so.
Yeah. Yeah, you already have bigger problems than whether or not this is coming into play tapped. I like this. This seems like a good cycle to have. I like the fallback if the format plays as long as I think it might in comparison to other more recent formats, then these are always really, really good mana sinks to have that can really save the day. So let's say you can hold open counter magic too, which is really nice here. Not that I saw any counter magic I liked, but you get my point. Hypothetically, you could. I think there's instant speed card draw or removal. These feel like a really good tool to have. I haven't seen the whole cycle, obviously, but I'm going to say I want these.
I think I do too. I think I've got this at like a 7. It's good enough, and I can definitely see this being a cycle where maybe some of them aren't as good, and that the rating does move around a little bit because the base value isn't just the fixing like it is with some other cycles.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm gonna keep them at a 6 because here's the thing: I think it's gonna be more impactful, but I think the fixing is a little bit more important to the rest to the deck in general, and lands that come into play tapped often are kind of at a premium, so you want to be a little careful how many you're jamming into it. Now, if you are exactly in this case Jeskai, then great. There's like little to no risk, right? You're going to have a plains or an island. Checks that boxes. This is totally free, but you're gonna have to make a decision at some point. Do I take the 6 powered creature or 6 rated creature? Do I take the dual land or do I take this? And I don't know what the right answer is. So I'm just going to kind of keep them all at the same kind of level of importance because it feels like that's what it is to me.
Fair.
But that said, this will certainly save your ass in some games for sure. In that long term. But I'm just wondering if you're taking this over a 6 or 7 rated creature. I don't know. That's a tough one.
It's just one of those. The more, I don't know, recent, the more sets that come out, you never end up without enough playables anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind, taking this over something rated like that because the gap from this to Mountain is way bigger to me than the gap between a lot of like 7s and 6s, 7 to a 6.
I totally agree. Yeah, I think that is very, very true. And I think I'm also like a little low because I'm assuming you're playing this with not Teamer. Or Jeskai. Yeah. So like, again, all of those come into play taps. I think we want a heavy amount of duels. So it's just, yeah, I think it's going to be super important. But also, who knows? Maybe this is like a turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, the format, the game's over, like we've seen in a couple of sets, and this is just absolute useless.
Well, yeah, I'm just rating this based on the format I'm actually going to play, because if that's the case, I'm just not going to be playing this format for very long. So,
well, of course you won't. The game will be over in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I am Brian. Thanks for the Prime sub. I appreciate you, my friend. All right, let's see what this cycle does. So this one is the Mardu. Yes, pay 3. Whenever you attack this turn, create 2 warrior tokens tapped and attacking. So it just has like pay 4 to have mobilize 2. That's nice. That's a good little mana sink. And I think Mardu wants those mana sinks a little bit more because their goal is to go 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop. Oh, I don't have enough things to do anymore. Boom, mana base basically turns into creatures, which is sort of Mardu's like favorite thing to do. That said, Jeskai's also doing exactly what the Jeskai one wants to do because they want to play more than one spell. So being able to give yourself an extra card each turn, by doing it on their end step, increases the likelihood that you'll be able to do that. So they do seem well designed for what they're doing. Yeah, I think they're good. I'm going to still say this is a 6.
I like this ability. My only question on this is Mardu is probably the clan that wants tap lands the least.
Yeah, but if you are exactly in Mardu, I think that this is not likely to come into play tapped.
Probably not, unless you're, it's like this and a Bloodfell Caves is 2 tapped lands, right? And not
a Bloodfell Caves and a Plains or whatever.
Again, it's a small thing. I don't think it's a huge difference. I've got this probably a little lower than the last one, so I had the last one as a 7. I have this as a 6.5.
Okay, I'm 6s across the board so far. Dismal Backwater, 6. Life Gain Land, Evolving Wilds. These are always nice. We did see a couple of things that interact with lands in the graveyard, which we were talking about how they're, that's not the most common thing to get unless you were using one of the creatures that like milled yourself some and like returned to land. But this makes that possible, so that's nice. It gives you graveyard fuel for other things. There were some things that like remove any card from your graveyard, do a thing. So yay.
Nothing wrong with Evolving Wilds, especially in 3-color format. So this is probably like a 6.
Yeah, we're cheaping out here. We're taking the easy way out and just calling fixing 6. But like, I mean, honestly, it's just true. It's like way more important than people give credit to. I myself don't nearly draft as much as I should, just because I'm really greedy. But here we are. We have Frontier Bivouac. This enters tap, but straight up 3 colors. I like these because you can use them as just regular duels. So even if you are in Sultai, this is a fine land to play if you need the fixing. But if you are in all 3 colors, then it is very, very nice.
Definitely. This cycle of 5 was just a straight reprint from Cons. They were great in that format. They'll still be great here.
Yeah. 6? Like, as good as they are to have in your deck and how much you really want them, like they still have the same power level, right? Like we're not doing anything ground shaking
No,
here, earth
nope,
shattering.
same thing. Same thing. 6.
All right, this one is the cheapest one of this cycle. 2 mana for the Forest Plains, the Abzan. Yes.
Yep.
Words. I can't connect. My brain just blanked. 2 mana, exile creature card from your graveyard. Create a 1/1 spirit creature token. Only 2 mana. I kind of like it. The problem with this is that it overlaps with a lot of the green-black cards that want you to have those things in your graveyard for other stuff. But I don't care. I like having extra mana turn into dudes. So 6.
Sure, and some of it, especially in like Sultai, where you've got the blue-green cards to go with it. You've got cards that just care about something leaving your graveyard.
Yeah, like our idiot bird.
It'll let you exile the creatures that don't have renew or an effect like that can do it on their own.
Yeah, this is a great enabler for Sultai, actually.
It is. Now it does. It's the only one we've seen so far that requires help. Well, I guess the Mardu one requires you to attack with something, but it's just so minuscule what it needs that I don't really think you should count that against it.
It's also the cheapest, so I think it like sort of mitigates a little bit where it's like you have to dump 4 or 3 or 4 mana into doing an effect that won't even stick around in the Mardu case, whereas this is like something you can build up over time, which has some added benefit. Also, Abzan, even Sultai, should have a fair number of creatures and self-mill.
Sure.
I'm still going to say a 6, but like these are great. Honestly, they're all probably a 6.5 for me. Just like they are better than just like regular. No, they're not better than regular jewels because you need them. Fuck! Yeah. I need them both. I just think that these are more impactful. Clearly, they're more impactful, but they're not more important. I'm sticking with 6. God damn it.
I've got this at 6.5. Again, the choice isn't going to come up, right? These are rares, so they're not going to come up as often.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, we do get like 6 rares in a pack nowadays, so.
They are. That's true, yeah. Jungle Hollow, 6. Okay, this one's 4. Just Surveil 2. Slow and steady wins the race. I think that's fine. This is the Sultai one. Surveil, so you like it synergizes with putting things in the graveyard, which you want to do.
It does. I think I like this the least, though, of the ones we've seen.
Because it's not super impactful exactly. In that it's not changing the board state, except for helping you get harmonized cards into the graveyard, helping you get creatures to get with the black land. You know what I mean? I agree with you. It's far less impactful, but it's not going to impact the board, but it is going to impact your card selection, which can help in the really long games. I would argue that this would be more impactful in like the Abzan mirror match that's going to go to time. So if you are playing against Mardu, then you don't care about this. It's not going to be good enough. But if you are playing against like Sultai or Abzan, then I think this will be more impactful. I'm still saying it's a 6.
I have this as a 6.
Maelstrom of the Dragon Spirit. Tap for a colorless. Tap. Add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a dragon spell or an omen. Pay 4. Sacrifice this land. Search your library for a dragon card. Reveal it. Put it into your hand. Then shuffle. I mean, the dragon deck wants it, but nobody else. So it's like a 1 or a 7? Because
I'm not even sure I have it that high on the top end.
If you're in specifically the dragon deck, the idea that it's not going to stop you from casting things, it doesn't come into play tapped, and then at the end it just turns into a free tutor, like when you don't need the mana anymore. I'm pretty happy with that.
Even in the dragon deck, this is only fixing for a third of your spells, a third to a half at best.
With a tutor added on, I think I'm okay with that.
I'm not saying you don't play it. I don't think it's super high. Like I've got this down at I definitely a 1 in the non-dragon deck, and then like a 6 maybe.
Yeah. I'm a little higher. But I also don't think the dragon deck is like common. Like that's not the average
Sure.
deck.
Sure.
Like I actually think this is just not playable in most decks. I would have to be like all in. Like I happen to get multiple copies of the same rare dragons to go with all the signpost uncommon rare, and then this is like that's the deck I'm talking about. Not just any deck with 4 or 5 dragons.
No. If this wasn't a 3-color format where like the colorless land wouldn't hurt as much, it would be a little bit of a different story. But
the Mistrise Village. For 1, the next spell you cast this turn can't be countered. Ew, it's the worst one. The counters sucked.
yeah, this is going to be by far the most irritating one in constructed though.
Yeah, that's true. But this one sucks. I mean, it's better than an island. So I'm not cutting it. So I'm going to say it's a 5, but I'm not taking it over anything else.
Yeah, I'm not even that sure it's better than an island. Like, do I value at 2 mana, the next spell can't be countered? How much do I value that more than coming into play tapped a third of the time or more?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have one of the colors, and I'm hoping you can play, finagle it to where you're playing it on an off turn where you didn't need the mana. Like, that happens. Tap lands don't always inconvenience you.
No, it is probably better than an island, but not significantly. So, yeah, it's like a 5.
Yeah, we won't cut it, but we're literally not taking it over anything playable.
Exactly. Replace an island if you can pick this up for free, but that's about it.
The Mystic Monastery. This land is a Jeskai. It's a 6. The Nomad Outpost. It's also a 6. I need all of these for Commander, so feel free to send extra to the P.O. Box if you guys get any of these 3-color lands. The Opulent Palace always comes up in Commander, and I have like 1. And then I can't ever find them, so I have to dig them all out, and it takes forever.
Oh, look, I probably have a bunch of these from original cons.
The Rugged Highlands, also a 6. The Sandstep Citadel, a 6. Barrens, 6. Cliffs, Thorn Falls, Tranquil Cove, Windscarred Crag. You'd think I'd remember all these for Veggie's trivia game, huh?
How many did you guys get?
Like 5. And that was because we had 2 packs in front of us that we opened and they were in there.
At least one of them was in there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of the colorless. For those of you guys who are watching on YouTube, don't forget, please leave us a comment and let us know what you guys thought of the colorless spells and all of the set reviews so far. Those comments really help and go a long way with engagement and helping me revitalize the YouTube channel because I've started and stopped a lot and they're punishing me. So please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. YouTube, what do you think of Tarkir so far? Are you excited for multicolor? Yanks, what do you think?
I'm excited. I'm hoping the format is a little slower like we seem to think it will be. Mardu still scares me, but we'll see how scary it is in the multicolor section.
Yeah, I'm not too scared of it. It looks fast and good, but I feel like there's enough life gain, there's enough like O4s and chunky butts that, Siege Rhino's real good at stopping our aggro. Now, I know there's not an exact Siege Rhino, but like, I think it's going to balance.
I need some instant speed creatures get -1/-1 effects or something like that.
Yeah. All right. Don't forget, leave those comments. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you guys in our next and final set review video for multicolor. Bye, guys.